And in fact, smart city is undoubtedly one of the key areas in innovation and technology development around the world, and Hong Kong is no exception. To take forward the smart city initiative in a systematic way, in fact, Hong Kong government published our first smart city blueprint in December 2017, a few years ago, in order to coordinate the efforts among government bureaus and departments and public organizations so as to enable citizens to better perceive the benefit of smart city development. And our visions, as shown on the screen, is to embrace the potential of INT and build a smart Hong Kong characterized by a strong economies and high qualities of living. Next slide, please. Yeah. In terms of our blueprints published in 2017, we set out 76 initiatives in 6 smart areas, ranging from smart mobilities, smart living, smart environments, to smart people, smart governments, and smart economy. In the past 3 years, various government departments, as well as our public organization, have taken forward the initiatives. More than 40 smart city initiatives listed under our Blueprint 1.0 have been completed or under completions in stages. I will set out some of our achievements and examples in the next few slides. On the smart mobility side, our transport department launched the Hong Kong e-mobility mobile apps in July 2018. The mobile apps allows public to get real-time traffic information and transportation information anytime, anywhere for route planning. And as at end February this year, the Hong Kong e-mobilities recorded a cumulative download of over 2.26 million. And since December 2020, the walking route search information on Hong Kong e-mobilities mobile apps has been extended to cover all districts in Hong Kong. And a new version of the mobile apps was also just released on 25th of March, which provides personalized traffic and public transport information and additional real-time arrival information, such as those from our public bus companies. And on smart living, under our Wi-Fi Connected City program, the number of free public Wi-Fi hotspots under the Wi-Fi.Hong Kong brand has increased over to 40,000, exceeding our original target of 33,000 hotspots. This means that every square kilometers, there are about 36 public Wi-Fi hotspots available for free use by the public and visitors. Aside from that, the Hong Kong monetary authorities launched the very well-received Faster Payment Systems, or FPS in short, in September 2018. And over the past 2 years or so, the FPS recorded over 7.4 million registrations, and involving an aggregated amounts of transfer of around Hong Kong dollars 2.5 trillion. On smart governments, we announced the open data policy in October 2018 to promote the opening up of data in a machine-readable format by government departments, public and private organizations, through our public sector information portals for free use by public and the industry. The government has so far released over 4,000, actually the figures already updated, 4,400 open data sets, and also provide around 1,400 what we call the application programming interface on the portal, which allows our industries to access a selected set of the open data to facilitate their application developments and research. And the number of downloads from our open data is huge. 10 billion times in 2020, or about 30 million times per day. And to encourage and facilitate wider adoption of INT in government departments, The government launched the Pro-Innovation Government Procurement Policy, and our office also established a Smart Government Innovation Laboratories, or the Smart Lab, in April 2019. We have also invested heavily in digital infrastructures to transform Hong Kong into a smarter city. And in the past 3 years, we invest over 900 million Hong Kong dollars to take forward a number of initiatives, including the IM Smart Platform, the next generation government cloud infrastructure, and the big data analytic platforms. These new platforms allow government departments to make better use of cloud computing technologies and other new technologies to provide a citizen-centric services, enhance our operational efficiency, and also improving our cybersecurity provisions. Next slide, please. Besides taking forward the implementation of Smart City Initiative under the Blueprint, we started preparing for the Blueprint 2.0 in the past 2 years. And we organized and took part in focus group and industry engagement meetings in the course of formulating our Blueprint 2.0 in order to plot a better path in further enhancing Hong Kong's smart city initiatives and strategies. The government released our Blueprint 2.0 in last December. It contains more than 130 smart city initiatives across the 6 smart areas, and also include a new chapters on the use of INT in combating our COVID-19 virus. The new chapters covers government's anti-pandemic efforts, and all in all, more than 60 new initiatives are included in the Blueprint 2.0, of which I wish to highlight a few of them in my presentation. Yes. First of all, on smart mobilities, the government is developing a traffic data analytics systems, which will make use of big data analytics to analyze real-time traffic and transport data and devise strategies to enhance our traffic management and traffic efficiency. The system is expected to be completed by end of this year. And besides helping our transport departments in traffic management, relevant real-time traffic conditions and forecasts will also be opened up through our Hong Kong e-mobility mobile apps and also in machine-readable formats on our PSI portal, starting from the second half of next year. We have also set up a 1 billion smart traffic fund to provide funding support for enterprise or organization to conduct research and application on vehicle-related innovation and technologies. The government will accept applications for the funds starting from tomorrow. On smart living, following the rollout of our IM Smart platforms in December last year, the Transport Department will also enhance 11 types of its existing online licensing services by phases, with a view to simplifying and expediting the identities authentication process. Among them, online application of our annual renewal of vehicle license and renewal of full license, driving license using IM Smart as identity authentication have been available since last December, saving applicants times in queuing at the licensing office. Everything can be done online. I will elaborate a bit further on our IM Smart platform in my later slides. On the other hand, our hospital authority continues to provide service using video conferencing. In view of the latest epidemic situation, the hospital authorities has expanded the function of its Hong Kong HA Go mobile app to provide remote consultations using video conferencing and to prescribe clinical information for specific groups of patients. HA will also explore the provisions of telehealth services for elderly persons living in remote area through the installation of relevant facilities at our village office. On smart environment, the government will launch a smart toilets pilot program with the use of Internet of Things, or IoT, and big data analytics to strengthen our public toilet management and maintenance. The government is also developing a prototype smart public toilet systems, and trial will take place in Southern Central Public Toilet in Wan Chai and in the Tsim Sha Tsui East Public Transport Interchange Public Toilet in the second quarters of this year. Sensors in the toilets will collect information and statistics such as the usage rate and the environmental data. These will allow governments to analyze the data collected and optimize the use of resource and improve the service qualities of our public toilets. On pest control, the government will explore the applications of technologies through a multi-pronged approach, including the use of thermal imaging cameras with the use of artificial intelligence to plan for more effective pest control work. And on smart people, the government continues to dedicate our efforts to cultivate the younger generation's interest in research and development, as well as IMT. We'll launch our IT Innovation Lab in School initiative to provide funding support for up to 1 million in the 3 school years from 2020-21 to 2022-23 for each publicly funded secondary school to organize IT-related extracurricular activities. And the government has also set aside over 200 million to extend the programs to primary school this year. I would also give more details on these programs in my later slide. We also launched the STEM Internship scheme, which provides subsidies for our local university to arrange short-term internships for their undergrad and graduate students studying STEM. And the STEM internship scheme has so far attracted over 1,600 university students and more than 1,000 companies or organizations to join, and has received great feedback from the academias and business sector. On smart government, the government is developing the electronic submission hub. Next slide. On the digital centralized portals for receiving and processing building plans and applications submitted under the building ordinance. The buildings departments will launch the first phase of this electronic submission hub, or ESH in short, in the first quarter of next year. And in light of the epidemic, we have expedited our work in taking forward e-government by providing more electronic service to make it easier for enterprise and individuals to submit applications, making payments, and obtain license and the use of government services. We are working towards the goal that by middle of next year, unless there are legal, or operational constraints, all government forms and license application can be submitted electronically. Furthermore, we will continue to reform about 900 government services under the Streamlining Government Services Program, with the aims to further enhance the level of public service. And on smart economies, the government attracts great importance to law tech and supports the development of an online platform to facilitate the provisions of efficient, cost-effective, and secure online dispute resolutions and deal-making service in Hong Kong. We also targeted to complete the development of an eMPF platforms by 2022, and the onboardings to the eMPF platforms by all trustees in phases within the subsequent 2 to 3 years. Next, nice. Apart from the initiative under the 6 smart areas, we have added 2 new chapters under our Blueprint 2.0. They are the use of INT in combating the COVID-19 and the Smart Village pilots. The government will continue to take forward anti-pandemics and our preventive work, as well as to strive to incorporate the need for reducing the contact among people under the new normal into the government's recurrent work. The new chapters on the use of INT in combating COVID-19 include recent initiatives such as our Leave Home Safe, exposure notification mobile apps. As for the Smart Village pilot, the government will explore the use of INT to address daily life issues faced by residents living in rural and more remote areas, such as the provisions of telehealth services and the public Wi-Fi. So far, I provide you with an outline of an initiative containing in the Blueprint 2.0. Next, I would also like to take these opportunities to talk a bit more on two initiatives taken forward by my office, namely the IM Smart and the IT Innovation Lab in secondary school. Last December, my office launched the IM Smart platforms, providing 4 major functions, including authentication, form filling, personalized notification, and digital signatures. Members of the public will be able to access over 30 commonly used online services of the government and also public utilities, including our 2 power companies and the gas companies, through IM Smart. It is expected that by middle of this year, the number of services accessible through the platforms will increase to more than 110. Citizens will also be able to access services provided by public organizations such as MPF scheme, the exchange mobile applications, and also our private sectors. In fact, we have also collaborated with our Cyberport to conduct the IM Smart Sandbox programs since March last year. The program will first open for companies in the financial sector. It was extended to our ICT sector in February this year, and will further extend it to our telecom sector later this month. And by middle March, around 240 organizations have signed up for the program. One insurance company have also already launched the IM Smart support to provide its service. And a few banks will also launch their service using IM Smart in the coming months. I will encourage members to search for these new mobile apps through your app store, download it, and have a feel about this very user-friendly and very convenient online platforms in order to access various government services. And later on, more commercial services will also be available. Next, I would like to talk about our IT Innovation Lab in School program, which are to enhance our enriched IT programs and extend the program to all publicly funded secondary school, and enhance the interests of our young people, including secondary school students, in INT and innovative thinking, and foster an IT learning atmosphere to encourage them to choose technology-related tertiary education programs and pursue an INT career in the future. And hopefully to lay the sound foundation in IT for our young people during their secondary schooling, thereby promoting local, popular science education, and also extending the supply of our INT talent. The maximum fundings of each publicly funded school is 1 million in 3 school year. The funds is for school to organize INT-related activities and procure IT equipment and related surveys, which are necessary related to the proposed activities. Generally speaking, the funding for the procurement of IT equipment and infrastructures with this surveys should not be more than half of the overall funding support. Examples of IT activities will receive application from school, including AI courses, mobile apps, coding classes, drones coding, VR classes, robotic competitions, and equipment including those activities required kits, drones, robotic kits, and IoT device. The program has been open for application since December last year, and we received very good response from schools. And as of March this year, we already received over 110 school applications, with around 57 applications has been approved. The amount of funding involved was about 22 million, and the average amount of funding support per secondary school is about 400,000, which is expected benefits to more than 12,000 secondary school students. Next slide. And with the feedbacks from our stakeholders and our school sectors, this year we have made a proposal of extending this scheme to cover all our publicly funded primary school as well. The government has allocated over 200 million under this year's budget to launch a program for primary school named Knowing More About IT Programs, or 奇趣 IT 識多啲計劃 in Chinese, to prepare the secondary students for integration into the knowledge-based economies and participate in the development of our digital societies. Funding of up to 400,000 per primary school is set aside in the coming 3 school year to enhance our primary school students' interest and knowledge in information and technologies, and their application through our extracurricular activities. My office will also set up a one-stop support center to provide assistance to our primary school in making the applications. Next slide. I think I've consumed much of your time in explaining our smart city blueprints, but in view of the limits of the time today, I will conclude my presentation here. And if you would like to learn more about the latest developments of various initiatives under our Blueprint 2.0, I encourage members to visit our thematic website, the smartcity.gov.hk. Our smart city portals provide regular updates to initiatives under the Blueprint 2.0, and with real-time city dashboard to showcase our open data initiatives and how to use the data in a more presentable way and attract your customers. And also providing regular updates on these initiatives under our Blueprint 2.0. And we will also make regular updates on the portals and present our latest status of our cities under the different smart areas. So I'll stop here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Tony. It's impressive to hear how much the government has done so far in the short couple years of time, and in what extensive development that we have already kind of developed. As Hong Kong has never really been regarded as such a smart, IT or science-driven, but ever since we started the SMART program, there are so many things that we have done. I think one of the things I like to take you upon is actually the school. You just talked quite a bit about that. And I think as family, most people actually have children or grandchildren attending school. And now you just mentioned that the funding are actually to public schools to allow students to understand more, to have more connection.
Yeah.
What about connection? A lot of time that we see students also have challenges to connect to internet when they're at home. And what is the government doing or any plans to help these families?
I think when later on you talk about our digital inclusion area.
Yes.
In fact, Actually, my office, I think 5-6 years ago, already initiated an initiative, and now it become a regular funding support to those low-income families. We have what we call the internet subsidies, which is an annual funding subsidies provided by our welfare departments for those needy families to apply and annual fundings to support their internet connections.
I see.
And also, we also engage with a number of NGOs providing low-cost computer device, and also some maintenance support to these families. And in fact, through the previous program, they established a network across the districts in order to engage these needy families to help them to get connected. And in fact, based on our recent statistic, those students, whether it's low-income family or normal families, the internet penetration has been substantially increased. So I think the connectivity part probably may not be the major issue in general in Hong Kong. But the problem is, how can we teach them to make better use of these tools is the key. In fact, internet is just a common tools, it's a platforms, it's neutral, but how youngsters make use of the tools, browse the information, how to teach them to digest and understand the information and convert it, become their knowledge is more important. So that's why in the coming 3 years, we launch another programs. We subsidize all the publicly funded schools, about 500 or something secondary school, and then about 530 primary school. We provide direct funding to the school, and then subsidize the school to organize these IT activities. On one hand is to arouse their interest through games, through participating in extracurricular activity, which is much more effective than classroom teaching,
which
is feedback we receive from teachers, from school, and also from our IT sectors. So we hopefully provide funding support and also engage our industry to organize various kinds of activities for the kids in order to help them to learn through a fun way, and also to hopefully to arouse their interest in selecting STEM-related subjects in their higher forms or pursuing the tertiary educations. And one of the, of course, my bureau's objective is to expand our talent pool, local talent pool. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. We all know that youngsters actually catch up on technology much faster. And as family to support them, one of the questions coming in just now is saying that now that you provide all these enablement to schools, how about public housing? Because parents need to support them. Would there be any plan for the government to provide Wi-Fi connection to public housing units and waive the charges for those that have children in school? I mean, that's probably two challenges.
Let me put it this way. In fact, through our free public Wi-Fi programs, we engage with our housing departments in order to extend our free Wi-Fi to those public areas of the public housing estate, like those rest area, those small parks around the estate. But of course, when you touch on the individual flats, that's a commercial arrangement. But of course, through our engagement with our mobile operators and also the wider developments of our 5G network, I believe the subscription fee will substantially reduce in terms of, especially for public housing, which have large potential demands. The subscription will more people subscribe to the service, the cost will definitely be lower because of the competitions. That's how Hong Kong's economy is doing. Yeah, so I really believe that in terms of public housing, the penetration rate it is much higher in terms of the different operators having their setup within this public housing estate. And effectively, it will drive down the cost.
Yeah, we need the support from the industry
exactly.
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, so appeal to the industry right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I think a lot of members are seniors of the senior executive of Hong Kong different sectors. I also encourage members to keep abreast of the smart city developments and see whether your companies or your organization have any interest in collaborate with the government in terms of helping these needy sectors, or also helping the governments to extend our different various initiatives. In fact, building up a smart city it's never a sort of a government alone work. Government alone can't achieve everything. So we need to collaborate with the industry, collaborate with our
well, in fact, our club has, before the pandemic gets very severe and all the schools were have to carry out e-learning, we have launched a project ABC, we call it Project ABC, which is to distribute, well, we call for donation of SIM cards and the pocket Wi-Fi, especially for families with more than one children. We see there is a large divide in the society, which I think is difficult to detect because every day the pandemic is different. There are people falling outside, losing their job every day. So I would suggest government work closely with NGOs to know the real situation in our society. So, well, we would be very delighted to work with government on every aspect regarding pushing Hong Kong into a smart city. But there are issues many issues involved, and I think there are a lot of questions on the chat room too, waiting to be answered.
So let me take you to the next one. It's a much easier one. So how is Hong Kong compared to the rest of the leading global smart cities? As well as China's smart city? How do we collaborate with them?
I think, well, we can study different indexes in terms of the smart city developments of different cities. But in fact, my experience is every city, whether it's mainland, Hong Kong, Macau, or the Western world, different cities or country have their own agenda in terms of developing a smart city.
Right.
Some may focus on environmental protection, carbon-free, become a carbon-free city. Some, like Hong Kong, will focus on the balance in terms of economic development and also enhancing our quality of life. So this is a different agenda. So it quite difficult to sort of just direct compare different cities' development. I probably will look to examples or good use case of other cities, and then whether it's relevant to Hong Kong, and then we can bring it to Hong Kong, either as a government initiative or we collaborate with our industries in order to bring benefits. As I think my brief also mentioned about the visions is more on letting the Hong Kong people to feel the benefits of being a smarter cities, where instead of just investing on all these technologies for the sake of being tech-savvy cities. The primary objective is to let people on the streets get the benefits. Like, for example, I shared quite a bit about our open data policy. In fact, in the good old days, government collect a lot of data, but after the operation use, they just set aside this data without any values. But through this open data policy, we just let go our ownership of this data. We just allow all the publics or the communities to use it free of charge. And also we promote this open data notion to public sectors as well, like our bus company, our MTL. What is the use? We don't care about the actual usage of this data, because this is the source or the resources of innovation. We don't know how our industry sector, our commercial sector, or research sector will make use of this data, but the innovation is with them. So long as they got all access to all this data, there will be a lot of innovation created without any barriers, because we don't charge them for any outcomes or any research result.
Right.
They can do it as a academic research. They can use it to mix with their corporate data to derive more innovative applications. And these, at the end of the day, will benefit their client, which is the citizen.
Right.
So in the previous the arrangement is the government produced this service, but now the government just let go the ownership of the data. The commercial sector will develop a lot of innovative applications, like traffic data as an example. Transport department, of course, they maintain their mobile app, they maintain their public service, but a lot of commercial mobile apps helping citizens to plan their route, whether it's a walking route or a driving route, through commercial innovation. So this is again another direction that we want to steward the innovation of our public sector,
Right.
through providing the resources to them.
I want to come back to the point about open data. In a way, for my work, and I've done a lot of e-commerce all around the world, I know that Hong Kong actually has a pretty good privacy law, but a lot of people don't understand. And as soon as you talk about data, and especially the sensitive word open data, is government planning to do some education work with the public on privacy? Because I think people are more worried about, with technology that comes with privacy, and how do they feel safe? In a way, they're catching technology because of the big environment, but on the other hand, I think it's important for general public to understand and protect themselves at the same time.
I think privacy education, we need to do it as an ongoing efforts, both with the government, our privacy commissioner, and also the rest of the communities also need to advocate this protection of personal data notion. But I don't see any conflict in terms of driving forward the smart city development and privacy protection, because when we talk about open data, there's a sort of a underlying principle is we won't touch on those personal data or those sensitive classified data, either within the governments or the outside. We have a very well-established legal framework in terms of how corporation, including the government, handle personal data. But open data is another topic. It's just those operation data without touch on any personal particulars. It's just city management data, like the traffic data. For example, we are not monitoring an individual's or a car's movement. We are monitoring the whole road segment, the speed, the capacity, the flow. All these are aggregated city data,
Right.
like environment data, the air qualities, the rainfall, the temperature. All these are very useful city data, which help both the governments and also the commercial sector to make good use of this to develop more innovative applications. So I think it's a balance. And also, of course, some of the individuals may want to enjoy more personalized experience of some of the commercial application. Of course, they need to share some of their personal information with that company. But that company, whether it's government or a commercial company, they need to strictly follow the privacy regulations in order to deliver this more personalized applications. So it's not a 0 or 1, a conflicting concept. I think we are making a very good balance in terms of promoting a smarter living and at the same time protect citizens' personal data.
That's great. That's great. I think it's important for everyone to actually understand it fully. Yeah. We have a lot of hooray here and say, glad to see the I Am Smart app is actually launched and integrated into all governments and apps onto mobile portal. I myself also downloaded it. It's actually, very excited to see that. It's kind of, in a way, quite a bold move as well, given people, are developing, during this period of time. So, with the vaccination, I understand you've been so wrapped up with the vaccination response using the apps. There are some reluctance of citizens using the apps as well. Are there any plans to help some of the citizens to overcome this, or they just have to learn it on their own?
Well, in fact, when you talk about I Am Smart is a tools, is a personalized tools, very simple to use.
Right.
In fact, it helps individuals to manage their various different username and password, accessing different government applications, and extending to commercial applications as well. I'm glad that to start with, our power company, the two car companies, and the gas company already joined it. And in fact, my account already connected to my I Am Smart account, so I can very conveniently use one single app to access all these applications, which is all belongs to me. And in fact, I already registered with this service, so my account is already with them. I Am Smart is just an integration of all these
platform for that.
It is an integration, but with much more, with many more services. For example, I Am Smart introduced a e-me, what we call the personal, a compartment that you can input those regular used, frequently used information, like your address, like your name, ID number, and then when you do form filling, it's an automatic form filling. You don't need to type all the things again every time you face a new government form.
For the government system.
For the government. But we also open up the API for other commercial companies to make use of these e-me platforms for auto form filling. And also we introduced that we have the digital signature functions.
That's very
That means when you apply, like when you renew your driving license, most of the time you need to sign the forms and you need to queue up with the licensing office. But with I Am Smart, you can skip that. You can do it everything online. But that's the I Am Smart. But I think later on you mentioned is our Lamppost Safe mobile app, which is a exposure notification. People are always saying that I'm conscious about my privacy, so I'm a bit skeptical about a mobile app that will know my whereabouts or my visit history of this restaurant, that restaurant. In fact, I explained many times, and I will continue to explain our design philosophy of this exposure notification app is to help individuals. To better manage their own visit history within their mobile phones. We never go outside the mobile phone. Of course, unless if you got infected, the CHP, the Center of Health Protection, have the authorities to ask those confirmed cases to sort of share their visit history in order to have a better understanding of the spread of the virus.
Crisis management.
Yes, and also it's a public health perspective. It is never trying to intrude to any of your privacy. So if you just visit different places, if you have a better management of your visit history, it gives you two benefits. First is whenever there's something happen with that venues. For example, you see some of the sort of venue-based infections like the U11s, right?
Oh, yeah.
And also the gym house. And if you better manage these visit history, the CHP can notify you through
Right.
this mobile app.
I see the merit of
visit
that, yeah.
Yeah, but you never, the CHP never know who is visiting that venue.
Exactly.
Because all the visit history are captured in your own mobile phone. But you do the comparison, you receive the alert all within your mobile phone.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is one benefit. Of course, the other benefit is, unfortunately, if you got infected, your visit history, we can share with CHP right away and help CHP to quickly contain the spreading, further spreading, and also protect people around you, your colleagues, your family members. You get a better protection.
There's a very slim distinction between privacy and transparency. So with government, when executing certain policy, be very transparent in giving us your policy and safeguarding citizens' privacy. I mean, like Safe Home app, you have explained very clearly that it's only in your phone. So in executing other policies, I think citizens need to know exactly, what kind of information is exposed.
Yes, I fully agree with Nora. In fact, at least my office already built up that practice of transparency. I can share with you another example is the Smart Lamppost initiative, which is also on the
Yes.
I'm one of the mastermind behind this Smart Lamppost, which is basically want to help departments to collect more city data, to help them to do more city management like environmental management, traffic management, and then at the same time, all these data will also be contributed to the public as an open data. But of course, some of the people have some misunderstanding about this. It's okay. We explain more. We even publish everything on our website, like the design of the lamppost, the device, what kind of device is hanging on this particular lamppost, and also actually every government IT system need to go through those security risk assessment, privacy impact analysis. All these reports we publish on our website. Let people have a transparent view on what is around me in terms of what kind of data is being collected by this lamppost. And in fact, I'm pleased to note that after the issues around the smart lamppost
2 years ago,
2 years ago, we invite our industry experts to have a comprehensive review.
Yeah.
The expert also endorsed our initiative is a smart city, is a major smart city infrastructure which the government should continue. But with more explanation and more transparency, of course, we follow this recommendation. And in fact, I think it's tomorrow or maybe a few days, within this week, we will launch a virtual exhibition of our smart lamppost.
Okay.
We produce different three-dimension, 360 degrees pictures about the lamppost, the inside out of the lamppost, what is inside, and each and every device will have an explanation of the device, what data they will capture, and the examples of the data. So let the public have a first-person view of what exactly the lamppost is helping them. Is helping them to enhance their visibilities of the cities, of the street, instead of just hearing all those rumors, all those unfounded allegations about infringing their privacy. And things like that.
Yeah.
We are completely transparent.
In fact, the smart lampposts, since they're on the street, there are a lot of other data that can be collected, like the allergens, like the environment. You talk about the smart environment,
yes,
but you only talk about the toilets, and there are a lot of things that citizens need to know, like the type of allergens, like whether they are polluted. Like we don't need in this day and age, I think we don't need chunky environmental receiver to identify those allergens. I think it has to be an integrated idea instead of just a lamppost for identifying smart traffic or smart. I think everything can be integrated. Since you have 6 initiatives, all would be tied together, and we depend on government to work closely interdepartmental to administer this kind of
exactly. In fact, the concept of having a smart lamppost is basically an infrastructure. We as a technology bureau, we hope to lay down the infrastructure. Different subject departments can put their own sensor on this on a convenient location that can collect and also distribute all these informations that can benefit the public. For example, the Environmental Protection Department is one of our partners of the Smart Lamppost project, because otherwise, without this infrastructure, they will have to find their own location and set up this pole and all these equipment just for the single purpose of like, for example, anti-dumping. But with the smart lamppost, they can select some of the poles which is convenient for them. They can just hang in their device, or they can share some of the device on that pole. And the network infrastructure are already there with the network, with the device management tools. So all these become an integrated platform that can help both the department to collect what the city data they need to collect, enhance their management of the different aspects of the city, and also become more open data, contribute back to the community.
I think it is critically important that the citizen would be able to understand the objectives behind all these initiatives. And I mean citizens, meaning people of all ages. And it comes to the question that certain age group in our society is not that digitally skillful. What initiatives is there to educate, people of all ages in order that they can freely utilize these systems and freely understand what government is providing to them?
Thank you for raising this point. In fact, actually, in the past few years, my office have a targeted sectors we want to engage, which is the elderly. In fact, you mentioned about youngsters. In fact, youngsters have processed the skill very quickly. But how to make better use of them is the education process. But elderly, as Nora mentioned, that sector probably is some sector that we want to engage. We don't want to let them left behind. And also, in fact, that is a sort of what we refer to as a super hair market. In fact, they have a desire to learn new technologies. They want to use it, but they just lack the path, the channels to help them. So that's why we, a few years ago, we partnered with our NGO, our elderly NGO, and also our elderly academies around the communities to introduce training classes to elderly. And in fact, we have a two-pronged approach. One is enhance the elderly's know-how and knowledge on digital societies and digital tools. It is not, it's not a sort of a training classes, a typical classroom training. It's very practical. We teach them how to use e-payment. We teach them how to use online shopping. And of course, we also teach them how to protect their personal data while doing online shoppings. So all these are practical classes. Like when we launch I Am Smart, we prepare this I Am Smart training package. And then elderly academies help us to do the training. But of course, last year, because of the pandemics, all these become online classes, but they don't stop. Another problem is we want to do some reach out program. We engage our NGOs to visit this elderly home, or even to those hidden elderly staying in the home, bringing in the tools and teach them how to use the tools, raise their interest. Like how to use the mobile phone, how to use tablet computer. All these to us maybe is just a very common, very handy tools, but to them maybe it's something new. So we are glad that we have a lot of NGO helping us. We provide funding support to them. They divide these classes to reach out to these elderly. So this is one of the sector we targeted in terms of engaging them to the digital society. Of course, we welcome your association to give us some more insight, and if there's some partnership opportunities, I would be very welcome.
Yeah, we are. Well, we'll be very happy to collaborate with government on these issues. Yeah, we work with women of all ages, so we have a lot of feedback which we want to reflect to the government.
Yeah, I think parent is another sector that we probably wish to connect. Yeah.
Yes, and during this pandemic period, I think people of all ages are facing intensive challenges, and not just IT, digital skill. I mean, in all aspects, we are facing challenges.
Thank you.
Yeah. So one final question. China is such a technologically advanced country, and also in terms of the population, their aging population is even faster in Hong Kong. How, is there anything we can learn from the mainland China, what they have done as a smart city or technological?
Well, definitely, because in fact we have a lot of exchange in terms of, in particular with our neighborhood province, the Guangdong province. We have a well-established government-to-government interface with our Guangdong government in terms of smart government development, smart city development. But you're pretty right about mainland is moving very fast in terms of digitalization. But of course, we only pick those with relevance to Hong Kong, and then we can apply. And also we have some of the cross-border issues, like for example, people working in mainland or even living in mainland, how can they continue to enjoy, for example, the medical benefits or the healthcare provided by Hong Kong. These are things that along this Greater Bay Area initiative, we will be talking among these 9 mainland cities in order to helping our Hong Kong people staying there to still continue to enjoy the developments of Hong Kong. But of course, other like digital payments, the e-payment services, and mainland is moving very fast. And I can see a lot of this new practice is already in Hong Kong. And with very good developments, and probably I think Hong Kong is in terms of our traditional wisdom is Hong Kong is a society that pro-choice, so we introduce different choice to all our citizens. We are not sort of picking one particular technology and then picking a winners. We offer different choice to them. Even for someone that I prefer a sort of non-digital way, we still maintain this as a choice to them. But of course, digital way, smarter way, probably will give you a more effective access more convenient, but of course, you can still have a choice of other channels. So again, go back to my analogies for smart city developments, different cities have their own agenda. It's all about how the peoples of the cities receive this smart development,
Right.
and feel the benefits that they can enjoy through the implementation of the smart city.
That's wonderful. That's
Well, one last question about education. You mentioned about STEM, but in a lot of other countries, they're not talking about just STEM. They talk about STEAM, they talk about STREAM, and particularly in Hong Kong, I noticed where we're so worried about our next generation. They don't read, they don't touch their books. All they do is the electronic games. So would you advise our parents, the next generation, since we put so much emphasis in STEM education, what other subjects in the curriculum is government working on in not turning our next generation into?
Well, that's a tough one, because I'm coming from the technology field. Of course, I will promote technologies as one of the interests that we want to inspire our kids. But of course, I think our thinking is a bit broader than just the tools, because so with a logical thinking, with a problem-solving mind, with a sort of that kind of analytical mind, probably the technology tools can help kids to develop this kind of mindsets. And then this, at least personally, I think this is the weapons of the next generation. If you possess this problem-solving, analytical mind, you probably have a better chance to success in your career or your life. But of course, again, it's go back to as a parents. I also facing the same problems. So it's a balance. It's all about a balance.
Yes.
Approach in terms of treating the kids. They can't let go. We can't just take away the tools, because this is very important tools to them. But how to make good use of the tools is more important. It's challenging topics to me as a parent.
Having a parental control on your Wi-Fi is no longer enough. I also hope that somebody will have a good solution.
So I don't have a sort of a sort of a right or wrong answer to that. Parenting is always a challenge. Yeah, we as a parents also need to learn along the way.
Yeah. We actually, our club has a project called Mothers Helping Mothers. We share our experience with other mothers of all economic, social strata. We just, share our experiences. I think, collaboration with NGO, and we are very willing to collaborate with government so that government knows what's actually happening in the society every day, because every day is changing now. And we have people working on the front line, which is direct contact with those people of the lower economic and social strata, which really needs help. And of course, we like Hong Kong to be a smart city, but we don't want a big divide, among the high strata and the low strata in the economic and social groups. And so let's work together.
Sure.
For Mr. Wong, I'm sure Mr. Wong would be willing to answer that through email. So please just write in the chat box below or email to our club. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hope you enjoy the Easter holidays and see you next time. Thank you.